the legend himself, Captain Bill Miller. How are you, brother?
I'm fine. I'm terrific on this great day, Mike, Dylan. Thanks
for
having me.
You look cold, buddy.
I am cold.
He's bundled up.
These guys are wearing shorts. I want to tell you right now, and I'm dressed up like I'm going out in the snow. But we hope you'll dress warm or however you want to come and come down and visit us today. Visit us today between 9 and 1 at the Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Tent and help us sink this boat for our Fishing for Hope food drive.
It's going to be a good one, always
I feel really good about this event, but I'm not feeling good about that moniker. Help us sink this boat. That's what we're going with. I feel like that's,
fishing captains trying to sink a boat.
I don't know about that one.
Well, let's
help the community. I feel like we could come up with a better catchphrase.
We're going to sink this boat with food. That's what we're going to do.
All right. It's kind of a strange year, too, because Metropolitan Ministries their shelves are a little lower than normal. I'm guessing, I haven't had a chance to talk to Tim Marks yet, as I'm sure we will today at some point. But I'm sure it probably has something to do with Hurricane Ian and all the help that Metropolitan Ministries have been giving that effort. So this year it's especially important that we come together, get everybody to join us. We're going to be at 2609 North Rome Avenue, the Holiday Tent. We're going to be there unloading your vehicle, hopefully, which is full of donations, frozen turkeys, non-perishable items. I loaded some in the back of Best's car already. Had some friends who weren't going to be able to make it down today, but came by the house yesterday and lobbed some food on us, some turkeys as well. So, again, it's
we're gonna have a challenge. I have the same thing in my truck. I was gonna have you help me carry it to the tent. So
we'll get it in there.
We're gonna need a cart today.
We'll get it in there. Hopefully we'll need lots of carts. We usually do. How many? I know we did a lot of pounds last year. Do you remember what the pounds were? 20,000 pounds or something? I mean,
it was over 20,000 pounds. Over 10 tons. I want to say 12 tons.
Wow.
Last year, and by the way, if you don't feel like you want to go by the grocery store, or it's too early for you, Metropolitan Ministries will gladly accept cash, checks, and food gift cards. Those are great. So if you want to just pick up a food gift card and bring it by to us, we'd love to see you.
And you don't have to go to Publix to get one of those food gift cards now. If you just hit like the neighborhood Walgreens, you can get a Publix gift card or a food gift card. So it makes it real convenient.
It does. And it's a great cause. We always have a great time out there. The legend Mike Mahoney is going to be there this morning. So
it's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
When he shows up in public without armed guards or in handcuffs, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and I go with infamous, not legendary.
Yeah, he's a piece of work for sure. So Mike will be there joining us as well. So come on by. Again, 2609 North Rome Avenue. We'll be talking about it all morning long. It's our Fishing for Hope food drive when the fishing community here in Tampa Bay comes together, stands strong, and helps those less fortunate. Metropolitan Ministries is a phenomenal organization. If you've never taken your kids by there for a tour of their facility to see what they do and how they do it, I highly recommend it. We took Georgia many, many years ago. Bill and I were trying to remember exactly how many years we've been doing this. We know we've been doing it a few years before Captain Mel passed away. So that's been a while.
That's where it left. That was the end of the conversation, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Frank Sargent might know.
He might. He
might know because Frank was with us in those first formative years.
And he tunes in, too. He still listens to the show. He's still got really bad taste, even though he's retired and living in the great state of Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He gets up early.
He does get up early.
He goes, I've got it now. I'm almost going to bed as early as Frank Sargent, but not quite. but I know he's up and I know he's listening. So, Frank, give us a call. And
2609 North Rome Avenue. That's the holiday tent for Metropolitan Ministries. A caller, Derek was in my ear there. My call screen's not up. I just turned and went, I have no call screen. So great prep on my part to make sure we were ready to go.
Mike, the holiday tent is near Rick's on the River.
Yes.
If you know where Rick's on the River is, it's about a block or two from that. And you can't miss the holiday tent. Giant white tent. And you'll see the signs go right to where it says food drop off. Mike, Dylan, me, and a bunch of people are going to be there, and we'll help you unload everything.
And listen, shameless plug for Rick's on the River. If you've never had their jacked up oysters,
And we're to food.
they're pretty good. He started
612. 612. We made it.
He brought up Rick's on the River, and that reminded me that they do jacked up oysters over there, which are phenomenal.
What is it?
It's oysters on the half shell, and they bake them a little bit with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a little bit of pepper jack cheese on them. Yeah, with a nice cold beer. So and I'm thinking what I'm doing is I'm trying to take care of our listeners by telling them you could come by, make your donation.
I like
10:30, 11 o'clock, and then you could slide right over Rick's on the River
Have lunch, yeah.
And again, shameless plug because they're not a sponsor. It's what we do here, Derek. We just share quality information. We share the love.
That's why Derek shows up so early.
Right.
But if we're talking about oysters, I really like the baked oysters, but you can't beat raw oysters.
I agree.
And even better, you put the oyster shooter in there. Oh, so good. Shrimpies, Blues Bistro, another shameless plug over in Blinds Pass. They have oyster shooters.
See, he says we're already on food at 6:12, 6:13, but then he rolled with it, didn't he, Derek? Like I stirred the pot, but Derek jumped right in, or Dylan jumped right in. Like, yeah, absolutely. So
yeah.
The best thing I do with oysters is use it for sheephead bait.
No.
You're not an oyster guy?
I'm not. I'm just not. I can't.
I would never waste an oyster for a sheephead ever. Sacrilegious.
If I eat an oyster, I got 10 crackers and about 5 pounds of cocktail sauce.
Oh man, you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm a big.
I can't do it.
I'm a big oyster fan myself.
Huge.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
they were talking on the show before that they were discussing stuffings for Thanksgiving and how they thought it was so strange that there was such thing as oyster stuffing. But I didn't think there was any other kind of stuffing. I've always had oysters in my stuffing growing up. Yeah, my dad puts like 3 cans of oysters in the stuffing.
No kidding.
Really good.
Oh, I'm gonna need you're gonna need to save me a side of that.
Dude, there's never any sides left.
Yeah, I get
it's
it.
Always gone.
Wow, that's
oyster stuffing. I didn't know that was not a thing. I thought that was a thing everywhere. Apparently, it's not.
Dylan grew up a little salty.
Yeah, very much
just
so.
a touch salty. A lot of wind. We're dealing with a lot of wind. It's breezy this morning. Still a little breezier than what I thought it was going to be. I knew they were calling for a slight breeze this morning, but seems to be like it's rocking and rolling. Looks like it's going to rock and roll almost all the way to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was really not looking great, like 10 days of 20-plus mile-an-hour winds, but it's easing off a little bit. I think this time of year I feel like I say this all the time, but this time of year the weather gets difficult to forecast, especially because we have these low pressures that move through, and then behind a low pressure, a high pressure settles in. And the big question is, what is that pressure gradient going to be? How close are those frontal boundaries going to be? How much are they going to push on each other and create increased wind? And that's what has changed. So tomorrow it's going to pick up again and really get pretty nasty on us out of the northeast, and then switch out of the east Monday. And it was supposed to be really nasty Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty much through the whole week. But now the forecast is dying off and relaxing a little bit there for midweek, early to midweek, and then all the way through Friday before it really kicks up a week from today. But again, it's early, a lot can change, but I would say midweek, this week coming up, or today are your best opportunities to get on the water. We got that new moon coming up. The new moon should be increasing that tidal flow. We'll have a good moving barometer. The water temperature has changed significantly.
Yeah.
And then all this wind's going to be moving the fish around. There's a lot of bait. And I think this midweek period should be a good indicator for kind of where we're at, because that big front really moved the fish around. Then the wind hasn't really let a lot of people get out there and target the fish as well. So once we get a little reprieve from the wind in this little weather window midweek, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out and settle out.
Have there been any reports, and Captain Bill Miller, the man, again, the myth, the legend, joining us this morning? I haven't heard any great reports on the kingfish.
I wouldn't say anybody has anything great to say about kingfish.
I mean, I've talked to guys who have caught some. We know there's some, they exist, but
in my circles,
not in the numbers that we normally see.
In my circles at the federal level, kingfish are in trouble. I mean, the Texas guys, the Alabama guys, the Mississippi, Louisiana, the Panhandle of Florida aren't getting kingfish. Nowhere. And I mean, guys that have made a living catching hundreds of thousands of pounds of kingfish commercially and traveling all over the southeast to catch them aren't catching them.
Nobody probably on the west coast of Florida, at least that I know of, is any better at chasing kingfish probably than Larry Mastery. And I know you talk to Larry all the time, Bill. Has there been any word from Larry on how the kingfish season has been?
No, not really. Larry hadn't been fishing all that much,
Okay.
just for some responsibilities around on land. But he gets good reports, and there's some. And my son Billy's been fishing quite a bit and catching a lot of Spanish mackerel.
Yeah, the Spanish mackerel bite's been good.
Billy doesn't stop fishing.
In places where he can catch a kingfish, and he's caught a couple of kingfish, a few decent ones, fishing one big bait, with the smaller baits for the mackerel and everything, and then a kingfish. But it's not. You can't target them if you're targeting specifically kingfish, like Dylan was saying.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
And that was interesting about the King of the Beach. The King of the Beach tournament winning fish was only 39 pounds. Captain Billy Hassan, Brian Hassan, sorry, 99 problems. But the big tournament contenders were all caught within 15 miles of the beach. They were all shallow. Anybody who ran out deep really struggled to even get a bite. And then the people who were on the beach are the ones who really got big fish. And Brian Hassan, he got his without even playing off. He had his young son on the boat fishing with him. I mean, they were
That's
within
Brian's second win, too, I think, isn't it?
Third win.
Wow, good for him.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, that's especially against some of those teams that get in that thing. There's some movers and shakers in that bunch. Yeah, big time for sure. So it's interesting. And again, I've been out there a couple times, and the bite's been good. There's been Spanish mackerel. There's been, bonita. We caught, we talked about it. We caught AJs in 30 foot of water. The cobia bite's been really good. So a lot of the near shore stuff has been excellent.
Hogfish.
But the kingfish has been really just kind of absent. I just kept waiting to get that, nudge at the marina from somebody going, hey, dude, they're thick as thieves. We caught 30 of them yesterday,
The mackerel have been pretty good. And
the mackerel bites, the Spanish mackerel bite's been great. Just the kingfish just a little off. So questions, comments, fishing reports, bring them right here. We'll get this call screen up here at the break and get ourselves set up proper for you. Phone lines are open again, 1-800-969-9352. It's a Fishing for Hope Saturday here. Metropolitan Ministries, our good friend Captain Bill Miller joins us. Light these phone lines up. We'll be back.
To a young guy over in the East Coast.
Yeah.
As he was telling me all about, his wife came over and they were all excited. He had a little bit of a career renting boats and all the stuff he goes with, sailboats and paddleboard stuff, and he's got a background in kingfishing, he says, and so.
This is a commercial CMP permit.
I have a particular. And I sold it to him, and as they were walking out of the bank, I just shook my head and I said, "Good luck, young man."
Yeah.
Because surprisingly, the kingfish permits are
Expensive.
It's
$5,000, right?
Oh, no.
More?
30.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
This kid paid me $30,000 for it.
Congrats.
I've had it quite a while, but it's still, if you've got a federal permit, a federal charter boat permit, those things are going for 30, 35, 40, yeah.
For a 6-pack charter permit.
Yeah. Billy sold his for, I think, 35 a while back.
I just got a 49 passenger for $40,000.
Yeah.
I just bought an 88 passenger for, I think it was, we beat them up to 78. We're buying them as much as we can just because there's not a lot of them out there. You want to build another boat, that's the hardest hurdle to find a permit worth the right amount of money.
And you'll get a return on that. Surprisingly, it's like anything with a limited entry. If there's only 10 houses, and you buy a house, at some point, doesn't mean people want that house.
Yep.
Because there's more than 10 people that want houses. There's more than 100 kingfish permits. 100 people want kingfish permits, whatever the number is. And it's pretty damn hard to make turnaround flip on anything in the fishing business.
Yeah.
But those permits are the way to do it. Have been anyway.
That's my holdup with I got a 32 ST contender coming, and everybody's like, "We're gonna run trips." No, because you got to buy that permit. I'm not doing it.
And
You don't know the half of it, bud. Once you buy the permit, then you got to have the turtle gear on board. Where are you going to fit a dog toy and a turtle net on that boat? And then on top of that, you have to have the VMS on the boat. And then you have to hail out every time you go fishing. You want to go catch bait in the morning, time to hail out.
That's why Billy sold his.
Yeah.
He said, I go to the gas stop. He's in the water at Maximum. I go to the gas stop. I got to call him, tell him where I'm going. And he said, it's just crazy. I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Now, he still fishes, and he'll fish 8.99 miles offshore, or maybe 10 or 9, and I didn't know it, it's close. But for what he does, he doesn't need that anymore.
Yeah, I just don't have any desire. I got all the inshore trips I can stand, and I just don't have any desire to play that game.
The idea behind that is to eliminate the latent permit and get a number on the latent permits. Because again, we talk a lot about defining the universe. There's 1,287 permits. The big argument was, well, 20% of those, 30% of those, 40% of those permits are sitting in someone's fucking drawer, not fishing. So if we can identify, if that permit sitting in your drawer that you bought as an investment, which is not a bad idea, has to be on a vessel, and that vessel has to be reporting, then all of a sudden you're able to identify, all right, all these permits are just sitting on these boats. The boats never move, and they never do a report. That shows they're latent permits. They're not actively fishing. So then all of a sudden you get 20-30% more fish, right? Because all those permits that aren't fishing are being counted against our quota as making fishing trips. So
Even though they don't report?
No, right now, prior to this, they are being counted because it's MREP. It's a survey. It's an estimate.
If they're not fishing, there's only
Now
100
we moved.
permits, but only 50 people are fishing.
Now we move to a census, remove all that estimation and guessing.
Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back, 624 here at the iHeart Media Empire. Remember, you can check out the virtual show there as well on the Hubbard's Facebook page, the Real Animals Facebook page. Again, our good friend, great friend, longtime friend, Captain Bill Miller. Fishing for Hope is our event today, and we're at Metropolitan Ministries. We're going to be there from 9 to 1, 9 to noon or so this morning, hanging out, helping you unload as you come by with your donations to help us sink the boat. Dylan doesn't think it's a great idea for us to be sinking a boat, but that's just the charter captain in him.
The only time I've sank boats growing up is purposefully offshore. Back before it was illegal. I want to make sure I emphasize that.
Statute of limitations.
Yes. It's the only time I've purposefully sank a boat, but today's a new day.
It is a new day.
We're hanging out with Bill Miller. That's what we do.
Frozen turkeys, hams, non-perishables, all those great donations, all the things you can think about. I say this every year. As a kid, I grew up really, really loving the holiday season. Grew up in a family that all got together, cooked a bunch of food, all hung out. My family would do the big meal, and then they would turn football on, and they would all go to the kitchen table. They would sit around and play cards for hours. I just can't imagine growing up without the opportunity to have that big meal on Thanksgiving or Christmas. And unfortunately, we have people here in the Bay Area that do not, for whatever their circumstances are, don't have the means to have that big meal, and it's kind of heartbreaking to me. So this is our opportunity to give back a little bit. I know things are tough. I know the economy, gas prices, everything is a little tougher than normal, but that's when those in need it the most, because they're feeling it even more than we are. So it's a great opportunity to help.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun event as well.
You look like you're in deep thought over there, Bill.
He's ready to say something.
I was actually looking at a picture of a few years ago when we did sink the boat. It's on a trailer, and we flattened the tires. We really did.
Yeah, Pro Marine trailer.
Yeah, the Pro Marine guys, and I see Tom Verdansky from the Old Salts, the late Eddie Harrington, Paul Kelmer, and this would be the kind of hard to say this. This will be the first year ever Fishing for Hope without Richard Seward.
Yeah.
Richard was with us from the beginning.
Every year.
And he got his church involved, Ottawa Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And Cam Middlebrooks and a lot of those people out there from the, I forget what they call it, but you and I have been out there to speak to their fishing
From
ministry.
the fishing, yeah, for sure.
The fishing
for
ministry
kids.
out there. He got those guys involved. And so we'll miss Richard.
Yeah.
And
Ricky's coming.
hopefully Ricky will be there.
Ricky said,
going.
Ricky Seward said he's going to come out for his dad's sake.
He says he can catch more fish than his dad.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know about either. I don't know about that either.
That's a tall order.
Yeah.
I don't even try that anymore.
You know what is very cool, as we mentioned, the late, great Captain Richard Seward. Hats off to CCA Florida, especially the Hillsborough County chapter, as they had set up this year's All-Release Challenge, the annual fishing tournament for CCA here in Hillsborough County. They had set it up as a memorial for Richard Seward for this year. Well, they had their meeting, their post-tournament meeting, I guess, last week, and unanimously decided to name it the Captain Richard Seward Memorial Tournament here moving forward. So it will forever be, as it should be, the Captain Richard Seward Memorial Fishing Tournament.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea. It's a no-brainer.
To see that.
Yeah, it's really cool and well-deserved for a great man in our fishing community that we lost.
It really speaks volumes to his life and what he's accomplished in life. I mean, that legacy that you leave behind, it's pretty awesome.
What he stood for sure. No doubt about it. And talking with Ricky Seward, Ricky and I go way back, and talking with Rick about coming out and joining us for Fishing for Hope, he had said that you and Richard started FCA here?
Richard did.
Okay.
I was involved in the very beginning, but not nearly. Richard was an organizer and a doer and a put everything together. I was there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't near the organizer. It was him.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any credit for that. I just happened to be there.
I hear you.
And be involved with it.
Well, you've been involved with a lot of great things, and this is another one. Again, we owe a great debt of gratitude to a lot of great people here in the community: Frank Sargent and Capt. Mel Berman, Richard Seward, a lot of great people. Glenn Pla have all been involved in this thing since the start.
And sorry to interrupt, but to interject, what you said is important. Just showing up is half the battle.
Yeah, for sure.
Really supporting.
Show up and
because
give
the
some
leaders,
time.
the organizers can't do it without people showing up.
That's a fact.
But we got time. I got one quick funny story.
Hang on, no, let's do the story on the other side. Just so Derek's like, no, don't do it. We're up against the clock here, but we're going to have a funny story. Captain Bill Miller, our guest this morning. It's a Fishing for Hope Saturday, 1-800-969-9352. Light these phone lines up. We're talking fishing. We'll be back.
I was driving.
I was driving across the causeway this past week, and thinking about Richard and all the stories he told me. We used to hook and line commercial fish, and he never needed to go south of the Courtney Campbell Causeway. He had places along that causeway where he just weighed from shore, and he showed me a couple of them. And as I'm driving by, I'm trying to remember where they were, but he just did that, and then he went up into Double Branch, and he caught. He lived for a while on the speckled trout that he caught fishing the causeway in Double Branch. Wow. Yeah.
It's so sad that we can't get people to understand the difference in the fishery from just 15, 20 years ago to what we see now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The numbers are so crunched
This
down. It's
kingfish
crazy.
thing.
And expand that to 40 years ago, 60
100%. 100%.
Looking back at
Can't
some
even
of the
imagine.
logs and some of the photos off the dock when you and Bobby were there, Mary Pier, it's crazy.
50 years ago, the kingfishing, you know it and heard of it and seen pictures.
From rowboats.
Yeah, all the charter boats could catch, if half a day you caught 40, 50 head, full day 100 or more, when they were there, and there'd be 200-300 boats out there. Wasn't a secret to where they were. Then the netters, I don't know if they were per se, I think they were back then, but they were coming in and actually circling up, the boats inside the nets. And and then Gene Turner started squawking, and blah, 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 people did. And so they took that away. But never since that stopped has the kingfish never come back to like it was. Never.
Well, the gill netters are still allowed to fish.
So here's where I'm going.
Yeah.
That 1,000,000 pounds or so they catch in 2 days or a
Yeah.
week down there.
And
What's
the keys.
different? It's got to be it.
Yeah.
Or else logic would tell you 50 years later we ought to have a shitload of kingfish. But that 1,000,000 they catch or whatever it is, it's I mean, it was a whole 2-season industry. I said this all on the charter boats. There were 3 seasons in the charter boats that I fished: spring kingfish season, fall kingfish season, and tarpon season. Grouper was an afterthought. You caught them in between kingfish and tarpon, and just screwing around a little bit.
Right.
And that's the interesting thing nowadays. Just in my lifetime, is the effort shifting as something becomes repressed or regulated. We have to all of a sudden shift our business models, start talking about different fish, and really advertise. I mean, look at Lane Snapper.
Yeah.
Now we run directed Lane Snapper trips. Close those. So it's really interesting how things evolved.
I started fishing amberjack. People say, amberjack. I said, you got to try them. You got to try them.
We got to cut that bloodline out.
Because we could catch, lots of amberjacks, and it was easy. And then finally, I had people calling specifically for amberjack. If you get out there and you get them up in the water and you get a big
very
30,
cool,
40,
yeah.
They're great fish. And if you can eat them, even better. And so the kind of when the grouper started getting regulated, you go to amberjacks, and then they get regulated, and then you go to hawk snapper or triggerfish, and they get regulated. I don't know what's left. That's your job there. You guys got to figure that marketing piece out. I think overall it's a good thing.
I'm getting there. I'm getting towards the end. Thank you, Jesus.
We'll leave that alone.
I can't wait. I don't know. I don't have any idea. These new young charter captains. I'm like, whew, good luck, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, starting business now.
Yeah. Good luck. Let me know how that works for you.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be a hard road to hoe for them.
And the other thing too, I'm telling you, it's and I'm blessed because I have the radios on the weekends, and then the TV thing is, it's pulled me off the water a bunch. And them boys, Jamie Goodwin comes back from Boca Grande, and Jamie and I are like family. I mean, he's my brother. I love him. He comes back from Boca Grande, bro. It looks like somebody beat him with a baseball bat.
He's cooked.
Yeah.
He's torched. I mean, he runs 74 days straight or some shit, which I get it. It's a little ridiculous. But, he's running 12, 14 hours a day for 70 some odd days. He comes back from that thing. I'm like, bro. And he's not, he's younger than I am. Not much, but a little bit. I'm like, bro, I want that done to my body like I want a hole drilled to my head.
You just can't do that. I mean, even
I did it
the
for
red
years. I
snapper
just
guys.
can't do it anymore.
I mean, our season was 40 days and people grinded like that, but now it's 72 days. And those red snapper trips are 15, 18-hour days. We make our guys take breaks.
Yeah.
Because we found the longer you let them grind like that, then all of a sudden you'll blow up on a customer or something because your patience is worn thin.
Can't do it, bro.
And that time of year, I'm really careful, like the small things, try not to nitpick. It's like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
After season, we'll talk about this.
Yeah, good idea.
That's
Everybody's
just,
tempers wear thin. It's crazy.
wow, look at that guy.
Yeah, I saw him in the paper today. His name is Pentecost or Penteridge or Penteridge or it's not
I saw him
Pentecost.
hanging out with Mahoney last week.
It does kind of look. Put a ponytail on a guy. He looked like mine.
I put a ponytail on his chin.
That's what I meant. That's what,
Yeah. A rat tail. He's headed for Canada tomorrow.
Device to play WFLA on iHeartRadio. This is News Radio.
Phone lines are real quiet this morning.
This is the Ford Real Animals Radio Show presented by
Your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back. Putting a big shout out to our good friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. They've got over 3 decades of knowledge and experience to help you with the important process of whether you need a roof completely installed, a new one, or just a roof repair, whether it be a shingle, metal tile, or a flat roof, they're your safest choice for repairs or replacements. You can give them a call today and get your free estimate, 1-888-397-ROOF, or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. Again, it's a Fishing for Hope Saturday morning here, November 19th. We've been talking about it for a while. Hopefully you have already scheduled to come by and see us. We're going to be at 2609 North Rome Avenue at the Holiday Tent for Metropolitan Ministries. Our good friend Captain Bill Miller joins us. I know a lot of you watched Bill on TV forever. I'm in the midst of live TV royalty here. It's interesting. All three of us do TV. Only two of us here.
I wouldn't say I do TV.
You do TV. That's live. Listen, it's a live segment. I got news for you, and Bill won't get this either. Totally, a little bit, but not totally, because he did it for so long that it became second nature to him. But from a guy who's only done 2 or 3 live segments in the 17 years I've been doing TV, live TV is completely different. It's a beautiful thing when you can booger something up and look at your camera guy and just laugh, and he just shakes his head, and you can just start over. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. I've done live TV when I was back with News Channel 8, and it is not pretty. What you do is not easy. What Bill did, I sat in that studio with him a couple different times, one time with my father, and did shows and watched in awe as the light just changed colors and Bill goes into go mode. That's really, really hard to do, So, this is TV royalty over here to my right, these two guys.
So that was in my show. I did 20 years of that.
I know it.
Wow. Another 3 of just tape, but there was no delay either.
Yeah, no.
And you remember it was live call-in.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So it was just like this, except I had a guest and we were in a studio. And we were showing videos of our fishing trips, and I was thinking about this the other day. In all those years, I only had about 4 or 5 people that called in and tried to be smart.
To do
something in. And the best one, though, he was really started out asking good questions. You could tell he was fished, and then he made some smart comment, and I don't know how I said it, but I came back one of the best one-liners ever. And all the guys in the window in this production room back there were just rolling, and I just killed this guy because and even radio too. You have the last word.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they may get something smart in, but you got the last word. They'll never win if you don't get flubbered up and mess it up.
We have a dump button here and a delay, so that's a beautiful thing here. We've had some jackwagons call in the past that tried to sneak one in.
You always get those guys.
And I don't think you could do that nowadays. In today's world, people calling in and purposefully trying to mess you up without a delay. That's dangerous.
It would be dangerous.
We could follow back on back then we couldn't follow back on their phone numbers. We couldn't see who was
right.
It was just
even on the Sunday night show like that we do on Facebook, people text in and they still try to send like comments to throw me off.
Yeah.
And I start to read them, and I read a little bit ahead of what I'm actually saying, because sometimes I'll just read something that's really silly. So they still try to trip me up like that. It's interesting.
Yeah, they spend more time actually thinking about how to trip you up than actually coming up with a good question that they might learn something.
And just overall negativity. Like they'll send something really, really negative to try to throw you off, which is difficult.
Yeah, that's instead of jackwagon, that falls under butthead.
Yes.
That's what that falls under.
Oh, you got a new term this week.
As always. Let's go to the phones here. Let's get our freshwater report from our freshwater guru out there in beautiful Lake Alfred. He is Ron from Ron's Tackle Box. Ronnie, how are you this morning? It's been chilly. That bite's got to be good.
Yes, it's on. The spec season is on, let me tell you.
Nice.
This is the truth. No games here.
I had Ron on my TV show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're getting some real nice size ones, and basically all the lakes out here in Polk County are just loaded with specks, which are the crappies for the northern people. And it's been fantastic. Jig fishing, minnow fishing, a few grass shrimp people that like to dip a few grass shrimp. I don't encourage commercial catching them because that's the food chain of the freshwater.
Right.
So just go out and get a few and go fishing.
Our good friend Captain Bill Miller is in studio with us.
Captain Bill.
Yeah, he was just telling us that you were a guest on that TV show as well, huh?
Yes, couple times. We did he helped us tremendously with a fundraiser for the Winter Haven Hospital Foundation years ago. We did for the natal care unit. We ran a couple bass tournaments, and they had me on there.
Very cool.
I remember that very well.
Awesome.
Big help.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Very cool.
Lake Alfred. You're in the Lake Alfred area,
bass
right?
Fishing, picking up a little bit here. Nothing real big, about 6 pounds, as big as I seen last week. But plenty of them, plenty of nice fish. But the panfish bite is really good, especially the crappie.
Nice.
So,
Nice. I got to get out there.
Come out here. You can fish on the fishing piers. You can fish in the lakes. In a boat, 554 lakes in Polk County. It's like paradise out here.
Nobody does it better than you, my friend. Tell everybody how they can find you out there, Ronnie.
All right, I'm at 380 South Lakeshore Way, which is 1792 in Lake Alfred. Phone number 863-956-4990.
You are the freshwater guru, and we appreciate you as always, my friend.
Thanks,
you
Ron.
guys for letting me voice my opinion and tell you what's going on out here.
Hey, we love the
man.
report. Yeah, keep up the good work, brother. We always love hearing from you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll holler at you soon. As a matter of fact, have a great Thanksgiving. It's here we are, the week before Thanksgiving. So have a great holiday. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. You guys too.
All right, my brother.
See you,
You're good, Ronnie.
It's like paradise.
That call made me
love the passion.
That call made me think about something too. You know, I guess I take it for granted. I don't think about it enough because we've been friends so long, Bill. But you have been involved in some really great charity work, my friend. I don't know if our listeners and everybody know what a great job you've done on as Ron was talking about that event and all the stuff you did with your show. But you know, we originally met kind of because of the Pediatric Cancer Foundation and all the great work with at that time it was the Chuck Lamar celebrity fishing tournament. I was trying to beg my way in to help that event out right as I got my license. I got my license in July. That tournament was in November, and I was just trying to find a way to get on the list to become a captain in that tournament, and that's how Bill and I met. And again, you know, hats off to you, Bill. That's a lot. You have a lot of really great things in your career to be proud of. Nice work.
Well, thank you. We live a life that people will never know, but being on the water and being on the outdoors is just an awesome thing, and we've been blessed to do it. So sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's really hard, but we all need to give back in whatever way we can.
Sure.
In the way that I could was through fishing, and a little bit of organizational stuff that we could do, and I don't know, it just happened and went on. And so it's I'm glad that hopefully when they tally the final score, they might let me into those pearly gates.
You on the good side?
I got a few negatives over here, but I hope these will offset some of those other ones.
You got a lot of positives that I know of, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to do good, and we all should.
Yeah, give it back a little bit. Yeah. So it was such a great tournament at one time. I know they're still doing it. I haven't been involved in several years as it's changed over the years, but man, what a great event it was back in the day. Jose Wahibi and John Havlicek. I met some really, really great people.
We had some stars.
It was a big to-do, bro, a big to-do. You wanted to get on the list. That's all I could think about. I got my ticket, and I was only fishing part-time because I was still running my aluminum business and doing all that stuff, but all I could think about was I got to figure out how to get on that list to fish that tournament.
I remember how it happened. He kept calling me and bugging me, and I knew him because I had done a show with Billy Nobles, and Mike was along on the camera boat or with us, just one of the boats with us. I'm not sure on that. And so he kept calling me. I said, all right, Mike, I'll tell you what, you be there. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get you in, but I need a boat for an insurance boat in case somebody breaks down or we need to take somebody out and that kind of stuff.
So Mike was a stand-up.
I lucked out too because I was sponsored by Mercury early because my father worked for Mercury. So I kind of had it in. So I got sponsored by Mercury, and it was a Mercury-sponsored event. So I got to fish the Friday before the regular tournament because he needed Mercury-sponsored guides for the media day. And I'll never forget that either because I totally freaked out. I tell this story quite a bit. and it's funny to me now because now this guy and I have become friends. I walk upstairs, you go catch bait, and you would walk upstairs to the Vinoy, and then your name would be up on the board, and then who your celebrity was and who was fishing with you all would be on the board. And I look at my celebrity, and it was Shaw Grigsby. And I literally freaked out. And I turned around, and I looked at Billy. I was with Nobles. I looked at Billy, and I went, oh, my God, dude, I can't breathe. And Billy was like, you lucky SOB. And he was cussing me up. I'm like, what? And he goes, dude, all you got to do is take him to water that has fish in it, and he's going to catch them, for God's sakes. It couldn't be any easier than that. I'm like, what? And to this day, I always talk about the greatness of Shaw Grigsby because he treated me, and now, again, he's been on my podcast, and we've done some stuff together. You know, we've been at events together and worked together and all that. And, you know, so it's weird to me. But back then, he was Shaw Grigsby, and I had just started in the industry. And every time after that, and I mean like the next year, the year after that, no matter where I saw Shaw Grigsby, he acted like we had been friends for 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd come all the way across the crowded room to say hello to me, and all I did was take him fishing one day in a Tampa fishing tournament.
We had some big names. Mark Sosin.
Yeah,
Flip Pallet.
The late, great Mark Sosin.
Yeah.
Stu App was with us for years.
For sure.
I mean, we had those are Jose Wahebe, Stu App, Flip Pallet, Mark. So there's 4 IGFA Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shaw Grigsby, if there was an IGFA for freshwater, he'd be in it.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm sure he's in some Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, for sure he is.
And athletes. We had athletes.
Oh.
Crazy.
I'll never forget, I was sitting at the table with Beth, and somehow Bill Miller, somebody was up at the microphone and mentioned that John Havlicek was in the room. And I was like, what? And for those of you who don't know me all that well, basketball is kind of a thing. I really love the game of basketball. So the minute John Havlicek's name came up, Beth looked at me, she put her hand on my leg, and she said, don't be gone long. I'm like, I am going to track that dude down and talk to him right there. So
he was
very,
the
very
nicest
cool.
guy.
Great human being.
All of them were.
Yeah, for sure. We had some really cool celebrities. That was a great tournament Chuck Lamar put on back then. It was really something else. Well, you put it on.
Baseball Hall of Famers. NFL Hall of Famers. Fishing Hall of Famers.
I wish I could remember Cam's name. Do you remember Cam's last name? He was the
Atlanta Braves.
Well, yes, but he was with the God, I wish I could remember his name.
Starts with a B.
Yeah, well, hysterical. I got to fish a lot of really cool people in that tournament. It was a great event. Great event.
I'm enjoying this history lesson.
Trip down memory lane.
I'm just sitting here soaking it
for
up.
Bill and I. Again, it's a Fishing for Hope Saturday morning here on the Bartow Forward to Real Animals radio show. Captain Bill Miller joining us. We're going to be at Metropolitan Ministries 9 to noon, 9 to 1 or so. Come by and see us. We're going to be helping you unload your vehicles. We're trying to sink a boat here this morning, as much food as we can get to Metropolitan Ministries as possible to help those in need out through this holiday season. We'll talk more about it on the other side. We'll be back, 970 WFLA.
Ted, the Mad Stork Hendricks, big
Oh, yeah.
defense event for the Hokie
Oh, yeah.
Wreckers. Wade Ball, of course.
Such a great.
I was trying to get your attention. Don't forget to plug the Jack Wagon of the Week. Some people are like, "Oh, did you forget about that?"
Oh no,
You
we
guys
got
not
to
doing
talk.
it
We're
today?
talking about that.
Yeah. And it's Dylan's Jack Wagon of the Week this time.
It is. I got you on board.
Anderson's influenced me.
That's your breakfast there, if you want it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had one on the way over here. I know you guys are hungry, so you guys can eat it. Thank you.
Oh God. Who won Florida State game last night?
Florida.
Football game?
Basketball.
Oh.
Football's next weekend. Next weekend. Bill, I've got some great pictures, and you probably have seen them. When in behind Shell Key, Wilson had a pin set up and had a dolphin in there. I don't know who's, maybe Jeff or Mark or somebody. I don't know about it. Anyway, I got these photos.
Oh, cool.
And of the old Lucky Strike sitting in there by the pen, and they're down on the dock, and the nets are in there, and they were feeding these dolphins.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see those.
Yeah, I don't know if I have them on here or not. I've got them somewhere.
I have a couple of photos of the Lucky Strike sitting there, and my grandfather like down on this pallet feeding the dolphins. But I only have like one or two of them.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I have, and I've got some great pictures of the Lucky Strike.
That was a cool boat.
At the dock back then, because when they came in, Wilson would come down and take pictures and do all that, and it's in the slip facing toward the pass. Motors are still running, and the people are on board, and Bobby Buswell's down, needle down in the corner. They've got a sailfish stretched out across the transom of it.
Oh wow!
And then I got a couple of them where they have tarpon hung up from the boat.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. But
that's awesome.
yeah, that was another time. One thing about phones and pictures, it's okay because you've got them there somewhere, but I can't find them.
Yeah.
With a album, you can go. Oh, there it is. You can go 50 at a time, but.
Well, you can search on your phone too. I know on iPhones you can. I don't know about how Androids work, but like on iPhone you can search like tarpon, and your phone will learn over time, and it'll show you photos of tarpon on your phone.
Yeah, I'm not savvy enough to do that yet, but I've actually started to make a few albums and do that.
Yep, that helps too.
All right, Mike, I'm going to show you one. I don't know if I ever showed you this.
This is us.
Okay,
back.
I'll show you after this. I got to tell you, when we have the time, I'll tell this Richard Seward story, or early CCA. It's not necessary though.
Welcome back. Got a short segment here before the top of the hour. Those of you on the live feed asking about our Jack Wagon of the Week, we're not going to disappoint you. It's actually, that if they're bringing it up on the feed, it's starting to get some legs.
Yeah,
I talked to Cameron.
Big O said he found a deal on ice, by the way. He found some 8-pound bags.
Did he?
So he wanted me to make sure to emphasize that to you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm still mad at that guy.
Mike's really upset because a 10-pound bag of ice now is 7 pounds.
And it costs the same amount of money.
Well, that Twix or Snickers or something like that, it's still this big, but there's only two-thirds of the bar still in the package,
Right.
and it costs twice as much money.
Exactly. See, we could get the Twix people too.
Shrinkflation.
Potato chips.
Yeah.
There's 10 potato chips in a bag, a foot long.
Exactly. Bill knows. Bill gets it. But we do have a Jack Wagon of the Week for this week, and we will drop that on you there at 7 o'clock or just after the 7 o'clock break.
Yep. Jack Wagon of the Week coming at you. And this week it's mine.
It is.
Mine.
I know. I got Dylan involved.
Mike's rubbed off
Dylan
on
looked at
me.
me. He looked at me funny when I first thought about this segment, and now he's like,
And
he's
I
involved.
fought it at first.
Yeah.
Now I've embraced it. I'm embracing the dark side.
It's good, attaboy.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some social media stuff coming up. You'll be able to chime in on the Facebook pages early in the week, like a Thursday or so. Just started putting that together, so we'll be able to get y'all's input going on the Jack Wagon of the Week, which should be fun if we can keep it all above board.
Yeah, so the poll will begin Thursday on the Real Animals Facebook page. You'll be able to go over to the Real Animals Facebook page and actually give input on who you feel or what you feel should be the Jack Wagon of the Week for each Saturday show. So it'll be fun.
You don't want to share that on the Hubbard's page? We don't think we should put it on both pages?
Yeah. We'll talk after.
Okay. He's trying to stay above board. You see what he's doing there, Derek? Yeah.
It is still ultimately your segment, so I don't want to take that much ownership.
Nice. Real nice. That's good. Have you been fishing at all, Bill?
I fish. I do. I fish. I've been spending most of my time prior to Hurricane Ian the last year or two in Boca Grande.
Oh, okay.
I'm there 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh, nice.
And I don't fish for hire anymore, just
Right.
for fun. And I don't get up quite as early, stay quite as late. And I'm not quite as mad at them to fish as I used to be. But I still fish. Did a lot of tarpon fishing. I did a fair amount of fly fishing for tarpon this year.
Oh, nice.
Which was fun. Caught
Yeah.
some.
Did you? Very cool.
Caught some. It was fun.
How was what's your thoughts on tarpon season in general? Sounded like the Boca Grande guys had a pretty good year.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the guides do down there that fish the pass and around the places like that, but we saw quite a few tarpon this year and had some really good days.
Good.
So I liked it. I actually came up here in the end of September and fished some friends up here. Melissa Helms, remember her?
Oh yeah, of course.
She and her husband wanted to go tarpon fishing up here in their boat, and I said I would do that. And I hadn't fished up here in years, and so I tried to get some intel, and intel was no good. So I just went, okay, if I didn't have any intel, what do my instincts tell me to go? What would I do? I went there, and they both caught a tarpon.
Oh,
so
nice.
Got lucky, but they're great anglers. They're great
I don't
people,
think
so.
that's luck.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
think
going to
that's
say,
luck at all.
Bill Miller's forgot more about tarpon fishing than most of us will ever know.
Got
So.
intel, told where to go, didn't find them there. Well, I'll just revert back to instincts and catch everybody tarpon.
Well,
And that's an important point right there. You can read all the magazines you want. You can do this. You can do that. You can get all this reports. But there's going to be a time when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you say, what do you do? And if you've been around enough and you have some experience and you have some instincts, you say, okay, go to your instincts. Do what your instincts tell you. Mm-hmm. And that will, in other words, don't outthink it.
yeah, sure.
Don't overthink it, yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It does most of the time when you get in a pinch.
That's the
Go with your gut.
the blessing to time on the water.
No substitute.
Well, it just, there's days when nothing goes your way. You zig when you should have zagged, and sometimes you just have to sit for just a second and try to think your way through it, and the wind's blowing this direction, and a lot of times something will just pop in my head and be like, you know what? I haven't been there in a while, but they should be here. It's that time of year. The wind's right, the tide's right. Let me go there. And you go there, and all of a sudden you got fish on, and you're like, whoa, saved a morning. That's a beautiful thing.
And I talk about it a lot in my seminars, is thinking like a fish, and it sounds silly, and people often laugh when I bring that up, but I'm dead serious.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking like a fish, the science behind of why are they on that corner of the flat at this tide with this wind.
Sure.
Learning that boils down and kind of carries over to wherever you're fishing.
Sure.
And that's what I love about the Salt Strong folks. They really do these like really in-depth spot breakdowns, but it translates once you learn how to break down an area and get into a bay and figure out, all right, this is where the grass flat is, the oyster bar, and this is where the fish are going to be. It translates.
Our great friend, Captain C.A. Richardson, Flats Class TV.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's
Same
been doing
thing.
it 17 seasons coming up, just like I have. We started at the same time, and it's the exact same deal. It's, reading that body of water and taking a look at what's going on and putting all those pieces of the puzzle together to give yourself a bigger advantage to catch those fish. It's all good stuff. Jack Wagon of the Week coming your way on the other side. Phone lines are open. Everybody's asleep this morning. It's cold. I imagine you're just getting your coffee and you wanting to sit tight, I imagine. But, hey, we're lonely, so give us a call, 1-800-969-9352. We're so lonely. Call us. We'll be back.
Started my show. We were in some office building over there in Marina somewhere. These guys had leased a channel on the cable TV network that had just come in, brand new. And so it was a live call-in. Mm-hmm. So I just went in there and I cleared this guy's desk off that was with us, and had my tackle box there and rod and reel, and I just started talking. And then George LaBanca went in the other office, and he called, and they went up there and it put up Mike, and I went, "Hey, Mike, thanks for calling. It's George in the other office." And so then somebody else called in a different voice, and then about the third or fourth call, then they had a big piece of paper on the door with it writing who it was on the line. Then they write in, "Dylan, it's a live one," with exclamation mark. Some guy had found us. I don't know how the hell he found us, but it was a live guy calling in. But the first 3 or 4 were all plants. And for 6 months after that, we'd always, if things got slow, we'd have a plant that would go next door in the office and call, so we'd have somebody answering. All right, Mike, I want to show you this. I don't know if I've ever.
That was my father had a radio show for a brief period about diving. I forget what the name of it was, but Captain Chris, who works for us, was part of it too. And that's what they used to do. One would leave the studio and call in with the fake voice.
1969 University of Florida Baby Gator basketball. I'm in there.
Baby Gator.
Baby Gator.
What do you got, Bill?
Right
shorts.
The shorty shorts.
Dude's jersey number and his shorts number don't even match.
You know, if you look at this, it looks like the two guys in the center would be captains of the team. Got the basketball right there. The only reason we're in those warm-ups, they didn't have jerseys for us.
It looks a great looking photo though. How cool is that, dude? That's cool.
Black and white too. That's
Baby Gators.
freshman team. That's back when we had freshman ball.
Freshman ball in college?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet.
Before it all became about money.
That's me right there.
That's awesome. You do look like you're the captain of the team.
Yeah. That's because we didn't have jerseys. They didn't have no jerseys for us. Hey, you suck anyway. Here, put this on.
I'd have still been telling everybody that's my captain photo.
Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Absolutely, I do.
What did you say?
I'd still be telling everybody, look, I'm the captain of the team.
Captain, sometimes I don't even tell them it's a freshman team. I just tell them this is a
University.
captain of the freaking team, buddy. Another quick story that one of the guys in there was from Georgetown, Indiana, Tony Miller.
Yeah.
And Tony went on to lead the SEC in scoring his senior year. But the freshman year, we went on a road trip to Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. And we got to the first game, I forget who it was with, and Tony forgot his jersey. And so they're looking around and they said, here, talking to me. Miller, give Miller your jersey. You're not going to play anyway. So I said, okay. So I gave him my jersey. I had to warm up on, you know. And so back then, they didn't send reporters with a team or anything like that. They just looked at the box score when you got back, wrote in. So on the Sunday paper in Gainesville was big orange. It was orange paper. And it said, there was an article about like this after the main, the varsity. It said, Miller leads Baby Gators. Bill Miller from Tampa plant led the Gators on a 3-day road swing with average 27 points a game, blah, 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 like that. Because he just went to the scorebook and got it. It was my number, but he's Miller, but with my number, so they thought it was me.
Nice.
And so guys, hey, they finally let you play. Yeah, shit, I've been trying to get him like play. You want all you beat Kentucky at Kentucky.
That's great.
I bought a bunch of papers and cut it out, sent it to everybody. I didn't play a freaking minute on that. But Tony sure burned them up. What do you want me to do with this?
We'll just put it back in the
Try to talk, make sure you can move that mic, Bill. Try to just talk into the mic as much as you can.
Okay.
When you get away from it, it doesn't sound so bad in our headset, but doesn't sound as good on the air.
Okay.
It's hard because you turn to look at each other.
Yeah, it
And
is
when you
hard.
look at each other, that's when the mic sounds bad.
It is hard.
I've learned to cock my head around the mic.
I've been trying to wrap my head around my boy, David Hauser, who was a junior. I was player of the year my senior year. He was player of the year the following year. His two sons, he married a volleyball player. He went to Minnesota Duluth and played. He married a volleyball player. She's kind of tall as well. And both of his sons were Wisconsin Mr. Basketballs. They both went to Marquette on full rides. They were both top 100s in the country. Sammy Hauser, his oldest, plays for the Celtics, was undrafted. Really? And he hit 4 threes in a row the other night, then missed one, then hit another one. He's been getting big minutes. SportsCenter's been mentioning him. His youngest son, Joey, they both transferred. Sammy went to Virginia. Joey went to Michigan State. Was on the ship the other night. The game on the ship they do every year. Well, and Joey got in foul trouble early, didn't have a great game, but I was catching the game on the radio the other night. They were playing Kentucky, and he had 17 points against Kentucky. Joey's a senior now too, so I don't know if Joey will be quite as good as Sammy is, but yeah, I'm like, damn, Dave.
You imagine some of the games they had in the backyard?
Oh, well, he's got a full. I've seen videos like he'll just get on his lawn chair and watch them two go at it in the summer, and just the videos of them two going at it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But to have two Mr. Wisconsins, two top 100 high school kids in the country out of one family, and Dave was a good player, obviously, but he played at Minnesota Duluth, just a small school. Both the boys are like 6'8", 6'9",
Oh, man.
super talented, good kids. It's kind of made me a Celtics fan, which I've never been, but every time the Celtics are on, I'm watching now to see what Sammy's doing, just because Dave and I were good friends in high school.
He's a white guy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Gotta be the only white guy on the team.
Yeah, there's a couple of them on the Celtics for some reason.
Hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back. Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show. Captain Bill Miller is our guest this morning as we get ready to head for Metropolitan Ministries at the end of the show. We're going to be over there from 9 to noon, 9 to 1 or so, unloading your vehicles, helping you unload your vehicles for your donations. Really important day for us, Fishing for Hope. It's been going on for many, many, many years. Started with the great Frank Sargent, the great Captain Mel Berman was there. Lots of people, Captain Richard Seward, who never missed an event that I can remember. So just a great special day. You've been hearing us talk about it here for weeks. It's been all over our social media, mine and Dylan's. Hopefully you can come join us.
Yep.
Say hello.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm honored to be a part of it. Last year was the first time that I got to actually come out and join, and definitely excited about this year. And hopefully we can continue to grow the tradition. 12
tons, over 20,000 pounds of food we gathered up last year, and it should be pretty special. Turkeys, hams.
You know, can we tell them what we need?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, frozen turkeys. If you got frozen turkeys, frozen hams, non-perishables, cereal, canned yams, bags or cans of beans, stuffing, rice, cans and bags of potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce, packaged desserts, peanut butter, cookies, canned fruit, boxed mac and cheese,
cereal,
any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you can't go by the store, we certainly would accept cash donations or checks,
gift cards,
and gift cards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dylan had a good suggestion. You could go by different places and buy these gift cards.
Yep.
Walgreens is what he said, from Publix.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of need out there, and it doesn't take much to make a big difference in the community.
Every little bit.
Yeah. Remember the story of the first year where this guy, we just got started. We didn't know if anybody was going to show up.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in. He looks like a Hell's Angel on his Harley, and he says, "Hey, I heard you guys on the radio," and he said, "I don't have much, but I got something." He reached in his pocket, gave us like $1.18 some change. But it made a difference.
Sure it does.
And he was given what he had.
Yeah.
He wasn't given 10% or what he was given what he had in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yep.
So come on out and help us. It'll make a big difference in the whole community.
It sure would, and that's what's special to me about this day is it's the fishing community coming together to help those less fortunate. Metropolitan Ministries is a phenomenal organization. Been blessed to be a part of this since the first year it started, and it's just a great opportunity to make a difference. So we've got Captain Jim Fogel, Captain Jeff Page now online. You guys got to just hang tight for me for just a second because
Jack Wagon of the Week.
It's our Jack Wagon of the Week segment.
Bum, bum, bum. We got to come up with some music.
We do. We need.
Yeah.
We'll put Derek on that. We'll get Derek to put one of his guys on it because he's the owner here at iHeart.
He has a team for that.
So he has a team for that, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, our Jack Wagon of the Week this week
is the group, the idea that closing part of the Skyway fishing piers to make it a bird sanctuary is going to help reduce bird interactions, because at a popular fishing pier, it makes really, really good sense to make sure there's a ton of birds there by making part of it a bird sanctuary. And that won't by any means increase the effect of bird interactions, right? That makes perfect sense?
Yeah.
No.
Zero
absolutely not. I mean, to me, I think you put bird mitigation on the Skyway. Put some of those things on the rails that don't hurt the birds, but stops them from roosting on the rails.
Yeah.
Stopping the birds from coming to a fishing pier is what stops bird interactions with fishermen. Enticing more birds to the fishing pier by closing part of it for a bird sanctuary.
I mean, we've got islands and stuff set aside for those birds. If they would just stay in their area, we'd be good. But I don't think they got the memo.
Is this like the Monday Night Football "Come On Man" thing?
Yeah, come on, man. That's exactly what it is.
Although and we don't know exactly who the group is. Is that what we're lacking? Or you just don't want to say?
So Dylan's jackwagon of the week is not going to personally call out groups.
See, you should have told me because I would have personally called him out.
Yeah,
you know
that. I didn't tell you for that reason.
But
it's a contentious thing, and people really, really have strong feelings. They want to protect seabirds, and that's great. Everybody has a right to do that.
I don't have anything against seabirds.
But we all need to be able to take advantage of the outdoors and coalesce together. There's no reason that we can't all get along.
Listen, I don't have anything against manatees. I don't have anything against porpoises either. But every time that porpoise hits my $300 cast net, I wish that I had a sidearm.
We need to have a really big conversation about carrying capacity. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to bring it up. But there's such thing as carrying capacity. We can't over-regulate a single species and then wonder why we have so many problems. The state of Florida spent almost $30 million this year buying lettuce and making whole teams of people to feed manatees because there's not enough food for manatees because water quality is so bad it killed all the seagrass. And now we've overprotected manatees, and there's so many manatees, there's no food for them. So we're going to spend $30 million a year to feed these manatees? Carrying capacity, folks.
Brilliant.
There's only so much food in the environment to support so many creatures. So unless we're willing to go out of our way to spend millions of dollars a year to feed all these creatures that we're over-regulating and allowing the population to grow out of sync with the environment that can support it, it's definitely a problem.
Weren't indigenous.
And the brown pelican is that way. It was endangered at one point. It was threatened. Maybe not endangered, but it was threatened. And now they're really rebounded. There's brown pelicans everywhere. And now we're having more bird interactions. So the solution is close fishing piers? No. That's not the solution. And Monday night, this is a big part. This is really why we wanted to make this jackwagon of the week, is Monday night, 2 days from now, Monday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., FWC is holding a very important meeting on the Skyway. They're talking about potential regulations on the Skyway, and even I've heard a lot of rumblings about complete closures or partial closures of the Skyway fishing piers because of bird interactions. So if you fish in Tampa Bay or really anywhere, if you fish anywhere and you want to preserve fishing access, you really should attend this meeting Monday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And a lot of people are like, I can't go to a meeting. I got to work Monday. It's a virtual meeting. It's a virtual meeting. You can attend it from your phone, sitting on the toilet. It doesn't matter. So join us Monday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a virtual meeting held by FWC. We're going to drop the link in our virtual chat. But it's really, really easy to find. You can just Google Pelican Workshop FWC, and the link will come up. The link for the meeting's not actually live yet. It'll be live Monday, probably late afternoon, and they do that because they know it's going to be a contentious meeting. There's going to be a lot of people showing up to voice their opinion, and FWC doesn't want – this is my interpretation. This is my opinion. FWC doesn't want to close a fishing pier. But when they have a lot of political pressure and a lot of people screaming, this is what needs to happen. We need to have all these regulations. We need to have closures. If no one else says, I don't agree with that, we shouldn't, guess what happens?
They do stupid stuff.
Closures happen, regulations happen. So we got to show up and give the political coverage of opposition so that way they can say, no, we're not going to close it. But if everybody shows up saying we want to close it, protect the pelicans, guess what's going to happen? It's going to close.
Stupid happens.
Mm-hmm. Until someone stands up and says, hey, this is not smart.
Let's rattle through a couple of these calls. There's your jackwagon of the week. Everybody get in on that meeting. Let's get our safe boating tip of the week. Our Milwaukee Tool safe boating tip of the week. Our good friend Captain Jim Fogel. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm great, guys. And you know what? You guys are the stars now. Captain Bill, Captain Mike, Captain Dylan, you guys rock. You guys keep it up, because I'm telling you, those guys you were pointing out earlier as being stars, they want to go with you because you're you. That's what.
Thank
really
you.
happened.
Thank you, Captain Jim.
You're a good man, Jim.
Yeah.
You get to keep your segment no matter what. You don't have to talk nice about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Excellent. All right. I got a couple of things today. Number one, if you get out of a boat on the water, make sure you can get back in. Make sure it's got a ladder out there. Make sure you've got shoes or some kind of protection on your feet. You try climbing back in a boat without a ladder up the cowling of the engine and the striker plate, and you're going to have some bad feet. So for goodness sake, if you're getting out of a boat, make sure you can get back in it. If not, make sure you've got a line tied around you so you don't sink. If you don't have the energy or strength to climb over the side, and or the people on the boat can't pick your big butt up and get you in the boat. So think about these things in advance. One more thing.
Smart.
Especially if you're large.
Talked about drinking on the water. Just recently, this last week, a guy was sentenced to 12 years in jail for running over another jet ski. He was on a jet ski, he was drunk, ran over another jet ski with a father and daughter on and killed them both.
Ouch.
Please,
Wow.
please be careful. Just because you're not in the car does not mean, you're free to drink out there any way you want to.
No doubt. Great tip, Jim.
Thanks, guys. Good to hear you, Bill.
Hey,
For those
Jim.
two,
Appreciate you calling in.
Keep them straight. I know it's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, man. Thanks, buddy. For the Coast Guard Auxiliary in St. Pete, Jim Fogel. Be safe out there.
Nice work.
And
Good stuff.
fog. I'm gonna
Let's
throw
go
that
real.
out
Let's
again.
go real quick here. I want to make sure we get to our good friend, Captain Jeff Page. Jeffrey, how are you this morning?
Pretty good, pretty good. I heard Captain Bill Miller on there, so I had to call in.
There you go.
Captain Jeff Page, my old buddy from way back in the day.
Back in the day, first TV show I ever did was Hooked on Fishing with Bill Miller and cameraman Wes.
Yep. And we caught some the other day. We had Frank Sargent out. We caught some nice fish that day. We caught nice fish every day.
Oh, we had some days.
Yeah, man. We always went this
But
time of year.
I'm really proud. I'm really proud to get to follow Jim Fogel, and I'm really proud of what you guys do every year. Not just at Thanksgiving, but year-round. You guys really do carry the message.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Appreciate you.
it, Jeff. Thank you, buddy. You're a big part of that too. With your visibility and your wisdom and knowledge of the water, you spread the word and you keep people aware of what's going on.
Well, I gotta say, we've got some little blooms of red tide from Boca Grande all the way up. I've heard up past New Pass, and I haven't seen it. But I just, I'm really grateful that we've got these strong northeast winds and cooler weather blowing in just to maybe knock it out.
I hope so. We've been talking about it and trying not to bring it up on the show
We
as
have
much as
successfully
possible.
avoided saying the words red tide for many, many weeks.
I know it.
Yeah, but we get it.
And I've been monitoring it really, really closely, and the furthest north it got was around South Anna Maria Island, like North Sarasota. Right now, it looks really, really thick from around mid to South Sarasota all the way down to past Port Charlotte. So, yeah, definitely not a good situation. Behind Ian, it kind of started and creeped north pretty quickly. Then behind Nicole, it was pretty much all watered down and not really doing much and almost disappeared. I was pretty hopeful. Looking at it this morning, the forecast looks like it's going to get pretty bad there, but hopefully it goes away.
It's a great call, Jeffrey. We always love to hear your voice, my friend.
All right, tight lines.
Be good, Jeff. One of the best in the business right there. Absolute legend, Captain Jeff Page, for sure. We've got some callers. Is that Comrade? We got Comrade in St. Pete. We've got Cap Mike in Big Pine Key. We've got William in Crystal River. Hopefully we'll hear from you as well. 1-800-969-9352. It's a Fishing for Hope Saturday here. We're going to be at Metropolitan Ministries. Put it in your schedule to come on out and see us this morning. We'll be back 970 WFLA.
We used to go this time of year with Jeff, and
He's so good.
he had I forget what kind of shallow skiff he had back then, but it was a real shallow thing. And we go back in some of those potholes in Wade, Bishop's Harbor, and some places like that.
Yep.
Oh man,
I filmed a show with him, wade fishing back behind Bishop's Harbor. And God, we kicked their keister, boy.
yeah.
Big negative low. That's a fishy cat. Fishy cat.
When I was fishing with him, it was all artificial baits. If we fished 5 hours, I would, anyway, during the time I would make one cast, he would make 3. He's just a machine.
Still is.
I couldn't keep up with him.
He's still fishing tournaments hard. And
Yeah, he looks a
Look at
little.
that. I've never seen red like that. That's not good. Must remember where he's going. Mike, you must remember where he's going.
he's like, I'm out. See you. Gotta pee. Gotta go.
I'm going at the 7:30 break. So I'm going to pee at the 7:30 break. Call dibs. One of us has to stay here.
Tinkle time.
Our breaks have been kind of weird this morning, like shortness wise.
Yeah, they've been a little short.
That one was really short.
Oh, God, we got Cap's got more. We're
Yeah,
loaded.
Bill Miller's in studio. The legends roll.
Oh, God. Oh, my freaking ankles hurt, man. God.
Dude, what's your name on Peloton? It's not Mike Anderson. It's not Real Animals. You're hiding from me. I've been trying to find you since you said you used it.
I have, but I haven't been on it in a while. But it should be in there somewhere. I don't know what it.
There's a million Mike Anderson.
I was going to say, yeah. You'll never find it that way. But it might be just Mike. I don't know. I just always go to my profile and I don't even pay attention to what it is. And I don't really race against people. I just push myself. I don't worry about what everybody else is
race
doing.
against each other.
Oh, we could.
And it's more so, to me, I try to follow people who use it a lot because then it like alerts you like, oh, your buddy just rode the bike. So it's like, oh, shit, now I got to do it to keep up.
I like it, dude.
There's this one guy at Madeira Beach Rec Center. He rides a Peloton like almost every day, if not every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
And so like it motivates me. And my cousin, my wife's cousin, rides every morning. So it's like every day I don't do it, I'm like, oh, he's going to pass me.
The thing to do is to ride it every day if you can. If you can get a half-hour ride in every day, especially in the morning on an empty stomach, you burn a lot more calories on that empty stomach in the morning than you do any other time.
For me, I mean, yeah, burning calories is probably important for me, but for me it's more just heart health.
Stay in shape, sure.
Yeah.
Well, it all goes hand in hand.
In the morning, I struggle just to wake up and read a book for a little bit and drink coffee before I have to go to work.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not a big morning person. I trained for a while in the mornings, and then I just don't like it. I'd rather train in the afternoon after I've got some fuel in my belly. And
I'd much rather train in the morning. When I used to work out heavy, I would go to the gym at 5 a.m. But now I have to be at work at 5:30. So in order to go to the gym, I have to be up at 3:30.
that's my problem with mornings is if I'm going to catch bait.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Got to leave the house at 4 to go get a workout in, and then try to be worth a shit on the water. I'm too old for that shit.
I'm a morning guy.
Yeah, are you?
That
Gym,
music.
morning gym? I can do it, but I like 9 in the morning. Not.
I'm at 7, 8 o'clock.
Well,
in the
that's not
morning.
bad. If I could do that, if I'm not on the water, I can do that. But welcome back. Another short segment here before the bottom of the hour. Let's rattle through some of these calls again. Metropolitan Ministries Fishing for Hope. Captain Bill Miller is our guest this morning. Nice tunes, dropping some music on us there. Let's go to Comrade in St. Pete. Com, you there?
Yeah.
How are you?
Are you fellas married?
Yes, all of us are married.
Okay, well, I'm 70 years old and I'm not married, and I want to. Y'all probably don't know about. Y'all ever been mall fishing?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Where you going with this?
Fishing is an art into itself, and everybody knows that you got to have the right kind of bait, and you got to have the right line and everything. But you can go ball fishing. Sometimes they'll throw you out. Well, actually, you can go just about into any store fishing, and but you all know you got to use the right kind of bait, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. We appreciate the call, brother. Hold on. We're gonna steer this back to some of our other callers. We appreciate you, brother. I'm not sure where he was going, but I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be
like
good.
I know.
You do? Yeah, I don't think it was going to be good. Let's check in real quick with our good friend William in Crystal River. Willie, save us. How are you?
Hey, captains and legends. Mr. Miller, you stand out in the industry, and you've been doing great things all your life. You might remember me when I called your show at one point. I said, I've always been hooked on fishing. It's that catching part that's hard.
Yeah. Thank you, Willie. I do remember that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And I always ask if you still bleed your fish. And I just wanted to say you need to give us an address where we can send those gift cards and the checks for the cause. Thanks for being there, guys. Next time you use words, I hope you're saying them fish on.
Thanks, brother. Nice job, William, as always.
We got time to give me a quick address?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna put it up on the feed.
Okay.
I'm sure
It's already up on the feed.
Oh, it's already up on the feed. It's
Come
up
on,
on
guys.
It's up on the live.
It really hurts my feelings when you doubt me, guys.
I saw you reach for your phone right away, so I thought maybe you were pulling the number up so we could give it out on the. Do you have the phone number there in front of you?
Well, the address. If you want to mail something, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, but you're going to probably mail it to Metropolitan Ministries on Florida Avenue, correct?
You can do that, and all you have to do is tag the check, note on the check, Fishing for Hope.
Okay. Perfect.
And make the check out to Metropolitan Ministries, and then note on the bottom, Fishing for Hope.
Dylan's pulling it up as we speak. I can see him.
Yeah, there's an online donation form option as well.
Yep,
so
yep.
I'll put that in the link in the chat as well on our Facebook feeds.
All right, and we'll give out that address too here on the other side. Let's go real quick. Try to get in one more before the break. We've got Captain Mike in Big Pine Key. Captain Mike, you there?
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning?
Good, buddy. Got about a minute and a half or so. What you got? Talk to us.
I just want to let y'all know we came up the other day. I will be joining you today.
Oh, nice.
Good, Mike. Appreciate it. Mike, make sure you come to me and let me see you face to face again. I only get to see maybe once or twice, but I want to know exactly who I'm talking to.
Captain Mike, Big Pine
Key. No problem. Yeah. No problem, Bill. Yep, no problem at all. Listen, I heard you guys talking about the birds. Let's talk real quick. Last night, as everybody knows, I'm a nurse, so when I'm home, I do pull some nursing shifts. So I worked last night. Instead of hooking birds, let's talk about hooking humans. We actually had two guys walk into the emergency room with hooks in their hands. Folks, when you're fishing at night, there's too good of equipment, headlamps, lights, lanterns, and make sure there's nobody behind you, or you're going to have a trip to the emergency room, somebody like me and a doctor digging a hook out of your finger, or God forbid, out of the joint or in the bone, and you got to go to surgery. And the hooks they make today, they're laser sharp. They can cut right through you real fast.
That's a fact.
And one more thing that Jim Fogel mentioned, if you're going to get out of a boat to wade, a sandbar, whatever, don't use the skag on your engine to get back in the boat. You will slice your foot on that prop so fast, it will cut it like butter.
Good call, brother. You're up against the clock. We'll see you here at Metropolitan Ministries shortly.
See you real soon, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, partner.
Thank you, buddy.
Good stuff right there. Captain Scott Moore dropped off there, but hopefully he'll call back here on the other side. Phone lines are open, 1-800-969-9352. Again, it's a Fishing for Hope Saturday morning here. Going to be at Metropolitan Ministries 9 to 1 this morning, helping you bring your donations in. We'll be back 970 WFLA.
I thought we were going to have plenty.
I think we're going to have too many.
I hope so.
Yeah. Which would be a good problem.
I had 3 or 4 girls that were coming, ladies that were coming that came last year. 3 of them are out, but 1 of them is coming, and you count on that. And so,
I know I heard Nick Nieves, Skyway Fishing Club, Mike Hart and his better half, who were there with us last year, and then I had 2 other people that I'm neglecting to remember about. And then Capt Mike as well. So we should have plenty of people there.
Good.
Well, Mahoney's coming.
Oh, Mahoney too.
Beth is coming.
Good.
So,
yeah, well,
I'm sure Deb is coming too.
Yeah, she's going to be there.
I mean, so we got leadership. We got Debbie and Beth. So
When those two get old,
yeah, we'll be good. Yeah.
Clipboard.
Yeah, they get the clipboards. They got it. Debbie Miller's got that under control.
Yeah, she does.
When she sets her, or she grabs hold of something, you better get out of the way and just let her go.
Yeah.
It's
Amen.
so true, man. Every successful male that you meet, there's always a powerful woman behind us.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I was reading this book last night about great leaders and great leadership, and it talks a lot about that. Basically, your better half is the one who really will make you a great leader.
100%.
It's pretty interesting.
Could not do it without B for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I want to choke her out because she's so correct.
She's always correct. That's what's annoying.
I said sometimes she's so correct. She's always correct, but sometimes she's so correct, and I'm really not happy about it. I'm like, sometimes it'd be easier if I
See
just
that
choked you
commercial
out.
on TV where the husband and wife are arguing? Did you close the door? Did you lock the door? He says, "Of course I did." She said, "Hey, I'm throwing the challenge flag."
Yes, that's on the football. Yeah, I was watching.
And they go back and watch. He says, "Okay, I didn't do it."
Yeah.
That pisses me off because she's always
Always
right.
right. Yeah, always.
I saw that thing and they were talking about, oh, that'd be cool to have the challenge flag. In real life, I was like, no, it wouldn't.
No.
No, it wouldn't.
That's a
I'd be
fact.
wrong every time.
That's a fact.
We're just about ready to go to bed. Debbie said, "Did you lock the car?" I don't know. I'm just about to sleep. All right, get up. Did you turn the alarm on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. No, you did.
See, I'm bad about that, like locking up the alarm on. We have all these security measures, and I'm kind of bad about it, but my wife is religious about it. And there's even like a note on the front door, like a little love note, like, hey, have a good day. Make sure you lock the front door when you leave. Yeah. And I swear I do it every morning, but man, I forget sometimes.
Challenge flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the story, we won't have time for the story, a quick FCA story. The very beginning, it was at Bahia Beach all the time, or whatever that's called now.
Yeah.
And so Berkeley was involved before there was braid. And Berkeley, we were spooling reels, the spinner reels. And so I was there and we were spooling these reels. And this guy brings me this reel back. After the first day, he says, I turned it and the line just went like that. I went, no way. So you put it on wrong. I said, no, I didn't. And we just put it on the same way every time. Mitchell 300s spin the opposite way of every other spinning reel. Every other spinning reel pointing down will go counterclockwise. Mitchell goes clockwise. And this guy, we spooled up 3 of his beautiful old Mitchell 300s.
Backwards.
He cast it out there. This line just went like that.
That's funny.
That's great.
So I was getting heated with him. I was like, I know what I'm doing. And then we looked at it and went, oh shit. Who knew? So we pulled all that line off and re-spooled it to get for him that next morning before they went out.
That's funny. I met with the Daiwa rep yesterday. Some of those reels they have nowadays are just insane. I'm getting another big order of a bunch of Daiwa reels. I'm very excited.
These are for the head boats or parties?
Just me personally.
Yeah.
All my reels are Daiwa reels.
Yeah.
I was out Monday. We were doing a tagging and research trip with NOAA Fisheries and the Gulf Council folks. And dude, I was just out there having fun. And I was on the bow with a 4,000 series spinning reel, catching red snapper like this.
Nice.
And they were struggling to take drag out of a Saltiga 4,000. That thing has like 60-some pounds of
They
drag.
make a great reel.
Dude, it's nuts.
They came at me this year, and the guy that did it is with their marketing company. He's a big fan, and he's like, "Man, can we get you to switch?" I'm like, "Well, I'll send you a package, and if you can get it through." But it didn't. He never heard back from it. Never really went anywhere, and we didn't think it would because of Bull Bay rods. My Bull Bay deal boogers me up on a lot of stuff because the rod company's growing so fast that.
Yeah, we got to send them invoices for this past year. I'll get with you after the show.
Okay.
I need invoices.
Okay. Yeah, they. But I'm good with pure fishing right now, so it doesn't really matter. But the Daiwa makes some really good stuff.
Yeah, Daiwa's awesome.
Yeah.
And some of their new MQ stuff, the size of the drag, the gears that they're putting in these reels now Like you get this, yesterday I was looking at a 4000 series Procyon MQ. So this super light, super compact spinning reel, but the main gear on that thing is this big. And it's got, I think it was 32 pounds of drag in this little ultralight 4000. Crazy, dude. It's absolutely insane the amount of drag they're putting in these things.
Yeah. I ordered about $5,000 worth of reels yesterday from Pure Fishing.
Nice.
Yeah.
What reels does Pure Fishing have now?
And they got, they got Fenor. They bought Fenor.
Pure Fishing
so they've
owns
got
like
a bunch.
every brand that isn't Shimano or Daiwa.
Right. Pretty
It's
much.
like you got Accurate, Avette, Shimano, Daiwa. Pure Fishing is everything else. It's crazy.
And what's do you deal with? Is Ryan Simmons?
He's
still?
gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. I don't even know who the local rep is.
I think
deal
Charlie
with-
Reynolds still has Quantum and Fenor.
Quantum, well, he doesn't do
They both
Fenor
got bought
anymore.
by Pure
He
Fishing.
doesn't do Fenor anymore, but he does Quantum because Quantum got bought by Luz.
Yeah, that's right. 'cause
And that's
he
who
went from Quantum
Charlie
to
has.
Luz and then back. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back. Good news is our good friend Captain Scott Moore is back on the line, so we're definitely going to go to him right away. First, again, it's a Fishing for Hope Saturday. We've been talking about November 19th being a special day. Our good friend Captain Bill Miller in studio with us as we depart here from the iHeartMedia Empire. We're all going to head over to 2609 North Rome Avenue. That's where the holiday tent is for Metropolitan Ministries. We're going to be there helping you unload your vehicles. Hopefully you'll come and bring donations this morning and help us fill the boat. Dylan doesn't like us sinking boats, so I'm sure Jim Fogle doesn't either. But that's the plan for this morning, so it's great stuff. Let's check in here real quick because he bothered to call us back. So we love to have our good friend Captain Scott Moore join us. Captain Scott, how are you, my friend?
That's great. You guys do every year for the underprivileged people that need that. Bill, hey, Bill,
Yep.
I thought you said you couldn't make a living fishing inshore.
Well, are you talking about my original meeting with Scott Moore?
I just teasing. Everything that you guys do up there in Tampa for your residents and everything. Like I say, that goes on Fishing for Hope. It really, really is nice that you guys do that. Yeah, I kind of hit a vein this morning on this bird deal because I've been dealing with this. You don't understand. They're calling me on the phone. It's been about almost 10 years now. And, I don't know why they've been dragging their feet, FWC. This is simpler than I just don't understand. It's very simple. The main problem is the sabiki rig on vertical bridges, okay? I know a lot of the bird people that go out and take those things off the birds. And, I'm not saying ban them for people on boats, but I think it would be a good thing to regulate that sabiki rig. They can still fish with one or two gold hooks. I know that you're only allowed to use a couple of fishing rods at a time in some areas.
Yeah,
They've got it where you can only.
So technically
you gotta
right
have
now.
some regulation.
Yeah, now
but,
the DEP has instituted a 3-rod rule on the pier, and basically Monday night's meeting that the FWC is holding at 6 p.m. virtually, they're going to discuss making that an FWC rule of limiting it to 3 rigged rods on the pier to fish with. But they're also exactly what you said is on the drawing board as well. They want to eliminate the use of sabiki rigs, outlaw them on the fishing pier, and then also they want to make it to where you can only have a single hook rig, meaning no treble hook, no double hook, nothing at all, just one single hook, either J hook or circle hook would be what's permitted. And I think sabiki rigs, outlawing those, I can see your point and I could see where that could help some birds. But outlawing treble hooks is a little bit trialsome because there's a lot of people that are successful.
I think that's a little going too far.
Yeah, and there's no science behind any of this, and that's my problem. You got to make science-based regulation.
Now, I tell you what they could do. They could say barbless hooks.
Yeah, they could, but that's a
say barbless hooks. Which
try
would help
try buying a barbless hook. I don't know where they sell them. I haven't seen them.
No, yeah. Well, that's another thing, but it gets kind of technical. But the Sabikis should have been gone a long time ago, and you wouldn't be dealing with this problem. A lot of it. Believe me, it's the Sabikis that are the problem. I know people. I know the ones that take the hooks off. They're hanging, and they're hanging in the mangroves. I'm telling you, it's the Sabikis. Okay, and yeah, I agree with you. This other banning, of course, private piers, they can do whatever they want to, and I hear down in Naples, it's really regulated. Okay, down there. I think it all started there, Dylan. I think it all started there. That municipality down there created a lot of problems for us.
Is this another one of those things? Is this another one of those things like the Save the Manatee thing, where it's not really about the bird, it's about us not fishing, and the harder they make it for us to fish, the happier they are? And I'm just asking the question.
It can get that way. That's why you want to be in that room, and you want to ask for science, okay? You want to ask. And I'll tell you, I think you'll find that those bird people, most of them, they don't want to ban fishing, okay? All right,
most
the
of
ones
them.
that I've talked to,
Mm-hmm.
because I darn sure make sure my foot's in the door. I talk to them personally. So,
Love that about
and
you,
I
Scott.
suggest everybody to be there at that meeting and be positive and ask for what we want to see the proof and the science.
Right,
and that's
absolutely.
That's the key point, and that's our Florida Guides Association kind of key message is we don't support regulations without science. You have to have science-based regulation, and show us some peer-reviewed studies, because there's some studies and some claims being made about, well, we know this because of this, and it's not a peer-reviewed study. Our stock assessments on our fisheries have to be peer-reviewed. So show us some good, actual scientific valid data that proves to me that me using a treble hook to target a kingfish is going to kill pelicans. And if you can prove that eliminating a treble hook is going to save some birds, and the opportunity cost is there, then go ahead. But until you can do that, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, limiting the amount of rods, all right, kind of makes sense. Not a lot of heartburn there.
Hard to monitor that many rods.
Yeah, eliminating sabiki rigs. I don't think I have a ton of heartburn about that, but I have a real problem with the slippery slope of setting regulations not based in science, and that's what we got to avoid.
It's a good call, Scott, as always, my brother. We appreciate you, pal.
Yeah.
Great to hear your voice.
Everybody, good job up there in Tampa. You guys really come through with that.
Thank you, my friend. Good to hear from you, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you, Scott.
He's gone.
He's
God's
so
gone.
quick.
He is gone. He's like, all right, I'm gone. Beth and I went to Anna Maria for Labor Day, stayed at a buddy's house there on the water. Everywhere I went, that guy is like the mayor of Anna Maria.
I think he's the president.
He's like the big dog on the island. Like everywhere I went, they were like, "Hey, Capt Mike, Captain Scott Moore comes here. Captain Scott Moore comes here. Captain Scott Moore comes here." I'm like, everywhere I went, it was classic.
We grew up there.
Yeah, he's the guy down there. It's very cool. It's so great to
Mahoney is awake, guys. He said maybe just eliminate some birds. Wildlife management ?
I knew it was coming. I knew it. I almost did it, but I knew I didn't have to do it because I knew Mahoney was going to bring it up. There's no doubt. Let's check in with our good friend out at the Lakeland Ledger, Michael Mookie Wilson. Mookster, how are you, pal?
Hey, pal. How you doing, man? It's been a while since I talked to you guys. I had to drag myself out of bed from covering playoff football last night talking to you guys.
Well, it's good to hear your voice, buddy. What's going on?
I had to call in about this pier thing, man. The one thing I got an issue with is the treble hooks, too. Everything else I could probably deal with, but the treble hooks I think is crossing the line.
I got you. I'm not sure it's not all crossing the line a little bit, but it's just my own personal opinion is there's birds, we just got gobs of them. Most of these birds are all protected, so you can't thin the herd any. The cormorants come straight to your boat. If you pull up on a flat, you don't even have to break out a fishing rod, and the cormorants will fly to you. That's a problem. And that's my other problem is they're not taking any of the cormorants or any of that stuff into consideration when they're talking about the lack of fish. They just punish us for the fishery being down, but don't take into account all of the smaller trout, all the smaller snook, all the smaller redfish, all the bait fish that them cormorants eat. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff there.
EBFM. You got to take the ecology-based fishery management. When you regulate one species and really over-regulate it and let that biomass really build up, it affects other species like cormorants. There's a ton of cormorants around, so that's affecting forage fish, which in turn might affect snook, redfish, trout populations. And that's something that we really struggle to grasp or to look at because those different connections in the food web are just so difficult to study. And it costs a lot of money. There's not enough money for that science, and that's the problem.
Oh, there is. There's
enough
plenty.
money.
There's plenty of money.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, where the money gets allocated is the problem. We've got lights on the Skyway Bridge. We've got palm trees everywhere, but by golly, we can't do our homework on our estuaries. Anyway, I regress.
Well, can I say one thing?
Yes, please.
Unfortunately, this has become so politicized with the pelican issue thing that we're going to have to pick our battles here, and we're going to have to give them, I think, the multiple rods and whatever else have you and stuff, multiple lines, but we're going to have to really knuckle down on this treble hook thing, and I think that's just pushing the line personally, because I like to fish a spoon out there for Spanish mackerel. I like fishing mirror lures. I'm going to re-rig all my lures and spoons with single hooks. I mean, come on. That's just pushing the line to me.
I get it. Michael, good call, buddy. I got some other callers on the line. Stay in touch with us, all right? Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. Happy Thanksgiving,
all right,
fellas.
buddy. Appreciate you. Good call right there. Let's go to Jim in St. Pete. Jim, how are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well.
Talk to me. What you got for us?
Hey, I had an idea to reinstitute pilchard rings. You guys mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, how effective they were. I grew up down in South Florida, used to pure fish all the time, and everybody used pilchard rings back in the day. Well, they banned those things because when they went to the gill net ban, they were trying to ban commercial gill nets. Somehow these little pilchard rings fell in it. Those things were perfect. They caught the perfect size pilchard every time. It didn't hurt them, never really killed them, pulled up just enough. They weren't little hooks like the sabiki rigs are that hurt people, it hurt birds. Those things, there's no reason why they shouldn't reinstitute a pilchard ring, because I don't think they're not drifting, and we don't leave them out for days, and they don't kill innocent byfish, which is what the problem with the gill nets were.
I'm getting a positive head shake from Captain Bill Miller. I've never seen a pilchard ring.
I had to Google
it.
I've used them.
They're excellent.
Yeah, they are. They work. They work.
They work very well.
Huh. Okay.
I never had an empty bait bucket with those things on a pier.
Nice.
You run out of them, you just drop them down, bounce them off the bottom a couple of times, and you pull up 4 or 5 pilchard every time.
Nice. Okay. Good stuff. I like it.
So I would like to see that kind of come off the ban list. I'm not real sure why it was banned in the first place.
It's a great addition, Jim. Good call, buddy. We appreciate you. Good stuff.
All right, thanks.
Opening eyes.
Thanks.
I like it. Good stuff. We are up against the break. Actually, I'm going to try to get one more in here, and then we want to wrap up with our Fishing for Hope. We're going to go to Mike in Palm Harbor, I think. Mike, are you there?
No, Palmetto.
Palmetto. Oh, Palmetto. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, much better place. Anywho.
Talk to me real quick.
Well, I was listening to y'all talk about these regulations, and one guy said that, he could give them the beaky ridge and all that stuff. You can't give them anything, because the people that are just against it will try to take everything, and they'll do it little bit at a time.
That's true.
It's the same thing with gun regulations. You can't let them have anything because they always want more.
It's Mike. It's a great call.
Every step of the way.
I'm up against the clock, but I do not disagree with you. I understand your take, my friend. I totally get it. It's been my complaint on a lot of things. When you close a fishery, like we'll use Goliath grouper as an example.
Really
they
hard to
close
get
it, you never get it back. And that's the problem. That's why they run into so much stubbornness on some of these issues, because they let them close things and then don't get their stuff together to get them reopened when they need to be reopened. That's why people get like Mike there in Palmetto, who doesn't want to cut them loose. I get it.
He has a valid point.
He sure does. We're going to take a break here, and then we're going to wrap things up. Captain Bill Miller in studio. It's Fishing for Hope. We're going to be doing that, talking about that on the other side, wrapping up this morning's show. We'll be back, 970 WFLA. Woo, we touched the nerve right there.
Yeah, man.
Woo,
Jack wagon
of the week.
I got to go to the bathroom.
I guess they can't hear us too good. Did you see that? Somebody said they couldn't hear us too good on the break.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
I tried to adjust it. That's why I've been scooting the mic towards Bill.
I got you. Okay. Perfect. I see you working.
On break.
Speak up. Oh, man.
There's something you want to get some callers. You just bring that up. You get some callers.
Wow.
The first I heard about that was I saw something on my news feed, on my phone. I got to come back and look at that. I didn't realize how much in depth it was.
I didn't either.
I had no idea it was even a freaking issue.
Well, I would say, and I'm fishing, 3 or 4 days a week. I would say at least half of the trips, you hook a bird.
Yeah.
Because they dive bomb all your baits.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, and even if you pull into a spot and don't chum, pull into Bishop's Harbor and throw bait on the water, the bird's coming. If that pilcher doesn't get down right away, it's going to get grabbed. And sooner or later, we're going to hook one. I had a couple of kayakers coming by us. Annoyingly, they were being extremely rude because I was sitting there when they came around the corner. It was like a little guided tour to 8 or 10 of them. And instead of going around the island and ending up in the exact same place, they had to, of course, scoot right by us, which was fine. It didn't screw up the bite, but we happened to hook a bird, of course. And then 2 of them kind of posted up. And it was wrapped, and then it grabbed the other line, so I got lines everywhere, and I did the old put a rag over its head, and we're holding it down, and I didn't do anything. I was doing everything I could to help the bird. But I was really frustrated because I'm like, these people are probably videotaping me now, and what do you want me to do, lady, other than not fish? Although they didn't say anything negative, so maybe I could have been just reading into it, but you're like, and we got all the line out. It had a hook in its wing, got the hook out, did everything we were supposed to do, which I do every time. But it gets a little irritating, a little old having to deal with them birds. There's acres of bait on the beach, on the pier. Go get your own. You're a bird. What do you got to take mine for?
Bobby Buswell.
Sounds like a certain political group I know.
Bobby Buswell tells a funny story about back in the day around Hubbard's Pier, and even younger when he was there. They'd take a piece of plywood, a 4-bay piece of plywood, and they paint it green. And they'd tack a mullet or a big thread fin or something on it, put a rope on it, and just roll it behind their boat a little bit. And they'd say a pelicane smash right into the plywood. I said, "You're a 6-ton bitch."
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but it makes a good story.
Oh, they take firecrackers and just cut a little hole in the pilchard, show a firecracker in one, throw it out there on the top of the water and let one pick it up.
This is entertainment purposes only.
Your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
It's been on our social media. We've been talking about it all week. Actually, we've been talking about it for a couple of months, but we've been talking about it all show. Fishing for Hope. Captain Bill Miller started this many, many years ago. We're not sure exactly how many, but 15 to 20, somewhere in there.
It's at least 15.
Yeah.
Closer to 20.
Yeah, for sure. So what all do we need for people that are coming to see us today? 2609 North Rome Avenue is where the holiday tent is for Metropolitan Ministries. What all should they be looking to bring if they're coming to see us, Bill?
Frozen turkeys would be great. Hams, canned hams, non-perishables, cereal, canned yams, box and bags of beans and stuffing and potatoes, bags of rice, gravy, cranberry sauce, peanut butter, cookies, canned vegetables, mac and cheese, anything non-perishable along with the frozen turkeys and hams that we could feed the needy people in Tampa Bay, the people that can't even afford a regular meal that Metropolitan Ministries will be able to feed them and give them a dignified Thanksgiving meal.
I mean, it's really, to me, this is one of those just kind of big no-brainers. I know my bride is at Publix as we speak, loading up the back of her vehicle to bring the donations that we bring every year. I had some friends, a buddy of mine that I play some ball with. He said, like, hey, we're not going to make it. I'm coming to your house. Open the garage. We ended up unloading a bunch of stuff out of his truck into the garage that's now in my wife's car as well. So, to me, it breaks my heart that we have so many families in need here in a great area like the Tampa Bay area, where there's so much and so many of us that have been given so many great opportunities and so many blessings. It's to me, it's hard. And again, I understand the struggle's real. I know gas prices. Trust me, I drive an F-250 diesel. I know all about it. I fish for a living with boat fuel at the Marina. I know the cost of gas, the cost of living, everything's out of control. Everybody's having a little bit tougher time this year. But imagine how hard that is on those that have very little to begin with. So this is a great opportunity to give back. I've always looked up to Captain Bill Miller for his philanthropic work here in the community. He's done so many great things, and this is just another leg of that Bill and his lovely bride Deb have kept going and got going. Glenn Pla as well. So super cool. Come on out. We'll help you unload. You don't even have to get out of your car. Just swing by the tent this morning. We'll do the work for you. If you want to get out, say hello, you can do that as well. You can grab a picture with Captain Bill Miller, Captain Dylan Hubbard, Mike Mahoney. Just get out, shake hands, say hello, show some fish pics, whatever you want to do. It's just a great opportunity for the fishing community to come together and make a difference in people's lives.
Going to be awesome. You don't want to miss out.
Yeah. Looks like we got some tough weather coming on the fishing side of things. So, pay attention to your forecast. We got some rain. We got some wind. I don't really think they've got a great clue on exactly what we're going to have totally, because it's been kind of up and down. I've been watching the newscasts in here in the studio, and some are still calling for Tuesday to be quite breezy, and some of it I saw this morning where it was starting to come down a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to get.
And chances of rain are higher Tuesday and Wednesday, too. Best days to get on the water would be probably today after you come to Fishing for Hope, and then Thursday and Friday.
And Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, you can go fishing before or after the meal. I mean, you got to go catch some sides, right?
There you go.
Surf and turf, baby.
Oyster stuffing.
Yeah, if you don't do oyster stuffing, you're missing out for sure.
I was going to just say I want somebody to bring some oysters to Fishing for Hope today.
Yes,
so
we will accept oysters.
Some family could have oyster stuffing. I got to have some. You got to
make. They
do
do canned oysters. It's a non-perishable food item.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we use. I mean, we don't use fresh oysters.
Right.
We eat the fresh oysters. The canned oysters are what goes in stuffing. Are you crazy? Also, don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m., we're going to be at Bass Pro Shops doing our Bass Pro Shops fishing conversations. So join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the Tampa Bass Pro Shops. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m., we've got our live stream show giving away tons of free trips as well.
Derek DeBose, you the man, my friend. We appreciate you, dog, as always, doing a great job behind the glass, suffering through this horrible radio show.
Terrible.
Yeah, horrible stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your families. God bless all of you. We appreciate you. Tight lines.
And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.
Too darn busy. Tight lines, we're out.
All right, Bill, come on over here so people can see your face. You got to scooch over, stand up, whatever you want to do. This is the legendary Bill Miller.
The man.
He's there. He
man
was in studio.
I was the mystery voice you heard coming out of I was God talking to you from above.
Telling you that you should donate to Metropolitan Ministries today. The good Lord has spoken to you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at Metropolitan Ministries today, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we shared the link in the chat a bunch of different times. And if you click the event link, it also has the little flyer that Bill was reading off of all morning with all the different items that are needed today. So check out that event link. Come out and see us 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Holiday Tent, Metropolitan.
2609 North Rome Avenue. You can't miss it. Once you get there, it's big as a house.
Huge.
Like Bill said, it's right there by Rick's on the River. It's a really neat facility. If you have the time this morning, I really urge you, if you've got young kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, I can't remember exactly how old Georgia was when we first took her there, but Georgia unfortunately has to work today and wasn't able to attend, but she even asked about it a week or two ago when that event was and was checking her schedule. If you take your kids on the tour, it's a first-class opportunity to teach them about giving back and see all the good work that a place like Metropolitan Ministries does. I know for us, for Beth and I, it really opened Georgia's eyes to how many blessings she has. And I think that's something that we could all use to teach our kids today because, again, a lot of us have more than we need, and unfortunately, a lot have not enough of what they need. So this is a great opportunity to teach them and for the fishing community to come together.
Amen to that. And we'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the Tampa Bass Pro Shops for our fishing conversation as well tomorrow night for that live stream show. And don't forget tomorrow morning, we got 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Are you going to be in studio?
No, nobody's in studio.
Never mind. But next weekend, we'll see you for another episode of the Saturday Morning Real Animals Radio Show. And hopefully we'll see you out in the water.
Saturday you won't either.
Well, next Saturday you will.
No, well, you will. You're gonna
no. Just forget what I said.
He keeps forgetting it's Thanksgiving, which is weird because it's a food holiday.
Yeah, but I mean, I just focused on today, man. It's going to be such a good day at Fishing for Hope. That's my focus,
I get it.
Very one-track minded.
We should probably do
These
better.
guys are awesome.
We try. We try to do the best we can, and it's all because we were taught by one of the best.
Learn from the best.
Yeah, the great Captain Bill Miller. So it's good to see you, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Look forward to it every year.
Good to have you.
Thanks for coming.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, and we always have a good time. So it's going to be fun to see everybody out there this morning.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week, or we'll see you week after next. Not next week because it's Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mike. But week after next. Thanks for watching this morning, guys.